Keeping you up to date on Western Kentucky sports, you're in the Red Zone right here on Revolution 91.7.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
There's going to be some knocking down and getting back up on Saturday with the spring game. We previewed that. And now we're going to talk about a sport not in session, but we are in the Commonwealth of the Bluegrass, Kentucky, so it's kind of hard to escape basketball. Ray Harper met with the media earlier this week to discuss with the media the team for the first time since the season ended, first time here in 2015, and the big thing that he touched on was DJ Clayton, and he didn't give us much. We talked about DJ Clayton possibly transferring from the Hilltopper program last week here on Red Zone. You can go online and find that on YouTube. But Ray Harper said, short and sweet, we'll discuss that in about 3 to 4 weeks. So thanks for nothing, Ray.
Yeah, they declined to comment on DJ Clayton and also the assistant coach, Bennerman, leaving. Mm-hmm. And so really the mood of the press conference was optimism, because Harper talked a lot about the recruiting class coming in now, some of the players they're bringing in, Chris McNeil, a freshman who Harper talks about will have an effect immediately. I don't think Western Kentucky's had a true point guard like this, was Harper's words. Yep. And he used a lot about Chris Harrison-Dox maybe going off ball. He's really excited about this lineup coming in, and he also said that he could be done. He could be done recruiting, but there's still a few finishing touches they want to put on. There's still a few people they want to go talk to and try to get. And this optimism at such an early stage is something very positive to see as a WA fan.
The exact quote from Harper is this, quote, it's in talking about Chris McNeil, quote, "It's a luxury we haven't had the last 2 years. I don't know that we've had a point guard like Chris McNeil since I've been here. He's extremely quick." And he talked a little bit about maybe challenging Chris Harrison-Dox. Hey, we might need you to play off ball, and a little bit of saying, I want Chris to prove to me that he deserves to stay at that one spot on the court, and that's going to be a fun battle to watch. Hopefully it'll boost both of their levels of play come next year.
And that's a huge area they addressed already. Aaron Crosby, a transfer that was announced
from Illinois.
Right, by Zach Greenwell of the Bowling Green Daily News. Crosby comes in as a player a Louisville guy that already liked Harper. They know the coaching staff, and he is a guy that can just snipe the ball from anywhere. He's one of those guys like a Chris Harrison-Dox that pulls up from three from deep range and can hit it. And this backcourt is something that Harper can work with. Now he has the tools that we were a little worried about. A little worried about DJ Clayton leaving, who will be stepping up. This is what Harper is going to be working with, and this is what he believes can bring him to another 20-win season.
He's been trying to rebuild almost with the rumors of DJ Clayton leaving, with George Fant and TJ Price especially leaving. Trency Jackson too. They're losing a lot of good shooters, and they've already got, I believe, 4 commits. 2 shooting guards, 1 point guard already. So they are trying to build up that backcourt, maybe look for that extra shooter to maybe step into TJ's spot, who was always making those clutch 3-pointers, making those shots when it really counted.
He also talked a lot about people coming back and kind of his expectations. You know, the seniors coming back, Nigel Stipes and Rostov.
Yeah, he confirmed that Snipes and Rostov would be back. And the one thing that he was saying about Rostov is how good he's looked. He had that blood clot at the end of 2014 from January to about July, started getting in basketball shape then, and he addressed what we talked about a couple times on the show and even more so off the show. Rostov just didn't look right on the court last year.
He wasn't in good condition. He would go out there for maybe 3 or 4 minutes and he'd be winded, and that's something you just can't do.
And I think that was important in terms of helping develop Ben Lawson a little bit. Lawson played a little more than I think Harper would have liked, but was planning comfortable with even, but with him coming in as a junior and Rostov being the senior next year, and if Rostov, hopefully his blood clot issue is gone. We haven't heard anything about it, just the fact that he wasn't in conditioned shape. So if he's conditioning from now until tip-off next year, Rostov should be back in what we expected him to be this year and more productive on the court.
Harper also mentioned Justin Johnson becoming a better player and kind of expanding in his game and not being afraid to shoot the 3-point shot. I thought it was pretty interesting. He kind of wants to develop Justin Johnson a little bit into a more than a one-dimensional game, and I think that's really interesting.
Something that George Fant didn't have. He didn't really have two dimensions to his game. He was that down-low guy, and if he wasn't going to score from the post, he wasn't going to score at all. And so if Harper can turn Johnson into a guy who can get the big rebound, can get the big layup, but can also shoot a key jump shot from the corner.
Yeah, turn Justin Johnson into a Kevin Love.
I wouldn't say no.
I wouldn't mind.
I would not mind
that at all.
Another name that popped out to me, Fabian Glasgow, a JUCO transfer from Connors State College, 12.5 points, 10.6 rebounds a game. Now, JUCO numbers can be a bit skewed, but if he's coming to this lineup, and that's George Fant replaced right there.
That's another 6-7 recruit that's going to be able to come in and give Justin a little bit of time on the bench, give Ben Lawson a little bit of a breather, and that's what Western needs right now. They have a few established players that they can build on, maybe more the front court instead of the back court with Justin, Rostov, and Lawson, but they need a little bit of depth, and that's what we talked about during the midseason. Why Western Kentucky was so successful was their depth, and they were able to go what was it, 7, 8, 9 times deep at times, and so they were able to be successful with that, and that's what Harper is going to try to replicate with this next roster.
They lost. Actually, going into the season, one of the big talking points was their depth. I remember at Hilltopper Hysteria, Ray Harper was talking about depth and how he was excited about the depth, and that's kind of continued through the season. And now losing players, but they're bringing in a lot of key players that could look to fill those holes. Fabian Glasgow, just another great name on that list to try to give Justin Johnson kind of maybe a little bit of competition, kind of push him, push Lawson, and make for a better team.
Already some optimism with next year's Hilltopper squad. TJ Price, in our conversation before we broke about professional Hilltoppers, trying to become one. He was invited to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament where guys like John Stockton and a couple other, that's the one name that I remember from the release, have gone there to try and boost their professional repertoire and their name. 29 points in 3 games. Not the best outing, but he still played in front of some scouts, and be it the NBA or overseas, I think it's a safe bet to say TJ Price will be playing professionally, but if you want to see TJ Price in NBA uniform, you might be a bit disappointed.
You might have to wait a few D-League seasons if you want to see that, and he'd have to really progress too. But the thing about that, and I don't have the stats in front of me though, is he played a really poor game the first game. He had
1 rebound and 2 points.
Right, and so it was not a good start, but the last 2 games was the vintage TJ Price. He was hitting
15 points and 12 points each.
And a lot of those were 3-pointers, and that kind of range is something that a lot of professional teams, whether that be a D-League team or in the NBA or across seas, is something that a lot of people need. So I think that Price may have struggled a little bit, but he got the job and what the focus of that kind of tournament was.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't look, if you're an NBA scout or anything like that, you're obviously looking at all 3 days, but you can't judge somebody just on their first day or just on their second day or just on their third day. You got to look at it all together. And over those 3 days, it showed that in those last 2 games, that he can play and he can play well. And so I think that he'll be playing somewhere very soon.
So Hilltopper basketball, a lot of optimism around, and now something I've been wanting to talk about since I first heard this argument. Yay, Jordan Spieth, second youngest player to ever win the Masters, first player to reach 19 under at the Masters, a wire-to-wire win, awesome job, good weekend. I've seen people on Twitter saying, oh, Spieth is a one and done from Texas, he's not killing college golf. Are you kidding me? You cannot compare Jordan Spieth to a Kentucky Duke high-end college basketball player going to school for 1 year and then going to the NBA. That's ridiculous to me.
It's a different, it's a different feel. Golf is a different sport than basketball, completely different sport. It's more of a play against yourself sport. That's what I'm trying to get at, Billy. Instead of a play with a team and you're judged as a team, it's play against yourself. You're judged by yourself. And I don't have a problem with one and dones in golf, but when you get to like that team sport, it gets a little bit
The one thing I saw a lot of was, is Jordan Spieth killing college golf like one and done players are killing college basketball? No one cares about college golf. Can either of you name one of the top 5 college golfers right now?
Alabama, Justin Thomas.
Okay, so one.
Good for you, Billy.
Is that it?
Well, he's from my hometown. That's the only reason why.
There you go. That's it. It's a completely different realm, and I don't know too many people that think college basketball is worse off because of the one and done. Now, would it be better without the one and done? Absolutely. Would it be awesome to see, even with UK having kind of the dynasty that they built, would it be awesome to see them grow upon each great player that comes in? Yes. Would it be awesome to see a program like Duke or UNC kind of collect these players and put out nothing short of an all-star team in a couple of years? Absolutely. But I still don't think the one and done is necessarily killing college basketball, but you can't compare this to golf.
Right, and I think it kind of has to do with the fans' perspective on the market they're watching. College basketball is so popular, and that's why the one and done in college basketball is scrutinized so much. But in golf, and what people want to look at in golf is the Masters. That's the things that they watch.
It's a major tournament.
And they can get as many young people to that tournament as possible, then the popularity is going to go up, and that one and done argument is kind of pushed away. And so it's kind of the fans' perspective of what they want to watch. They want to see better college basketball, so they scrutinize the one and done. But they also at the same time want to see the younger guys make pushes in these big tournaments. So I wouldn't say kind of necessarily it being arbitrarily one and done golf and college basketball, but I would kind of see it from what fans are watching and what they find important.
Younger players in golf have always been a talking point, a story for reporters, like going into the Masters, going into those major tournaments. If there's a young guy who's playing in that tournament, there's always at least one or two stories done on him during that tournament.
The history of, or the future of American golf is what Spieth's being labeled.
Yeah,
right
yes.
now.
Spieth and McIlroy, great for the game.
Right.
McIlroy's not as young as Spieth, but still youthful, for sure.
In something like the Ryder Cup where the America goes against Europe, it's just another huge thing, and that's what kind of the golf market is looking for right now is young stars. And so I think that one and done thing in college golf is kind of looked away from and kind of not as scrutinized as much as it is in college basketball because of the popularity of the two different sports.
I think college baseball and football have it correct. You go and play for 3 years for your college, and then you can go to the draft. In baseball, you could go to high school and get drafted. I think NCAA should get away with you have to play 1 year. Either make it 3 years in college basketball or say, if you want to go pro, that's fine. You don't have to come here for a year. I think the one and done is silly. I don't think it's ruining college basketball, however, and comparing Jordan Spieth to a college basketball player is silly in its own right. A quick score update. Hilltoppers playing baseball right now, lead 5-3 over Murray State down at the Nick, and Lady Toppers softball team was going to play Tennessee State, rescheduled of a couple weeks ago in which they canceled, and they canceled again. Tennessee State claims they don't have enough players to field a team tonight, but they've played 3 games before this, and they played 3 games before the last cancellation.
You have to feel sorry for the Lady Toppers softball team. They just can't buy a game.
I saw Michael Compton tweet, they don't want to get Kramered, and I agree with that. They just don't want to face the lefty number 2 Miranda Kramer.
I'm interested in George Fant's career and what he's going to do next, because in Harper's last press conference, I know we're running late with time, but he talked about him gaining interest from NFL scouts at the defensive end position.
George Fant.
Still has a year of eligibility if he wanted to play for the WKU football team.
Well,
could.
You think Brom knows that?
I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to, but I think that he's getting worked out, and there's scouts that have talked to Harper and asked them kind of the mindset of Fant right now.
That is the ultimate cliffhanger. There, Billy Rutledge will divulge on that next week, recap the WKU spring game. In the meantime, if you ever have any questions or comments you want from us, give us a tweet at Fletch Topper, at Billy R Sports, at JStrats95, or at WKU Redzone. For the man running the boards, Kyle Newman, for Billy Rutledge, for Jimmy Stratman, I'm Fletcher Keel saying so long. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock Central, here on Revolution 91.7. This has been the Red Zone right here. Now back to the best in progressive college music.